Good morning, everybody. DavidXRPLion. It's Sunday. It's very early. It's about 5:33 in the morning. I'm catching up. I saw something I didn't get posted last week, so I wanted to make sure I got it out first thing today. And that has to do with the Ripple case and the fact that this lawsuit is over. And that's what's important. First thing out of the door. You saw the other video I did with regards to XRP. It was never a security. It is security. Play on words. Isn't that kind of amazing how all that worked out? Very interesting. Let's come over here to what Stuart Alderati had to say on Twitter. He said the Ripple case is over, but the fair notice defense is still alive for others. This is where the SEC got caught, and I'm not going to say it was a negative. It's a clue, okay? It's a clue. It's just like when the Lord told me, Dave, what's missing? The letter A. So they're telling us right here. They've been using this term, crypto asset securities. Well, you all know it's never been a security. It's been security and a guarantee. But this is what I wanted to show you. And this goes back to the 13th. I did a prophetic GEMATRIA, a non-Q drop from something that Donald Trump said, and it was World Liberty Financial. That was on the 13th. And I sat with it for a day because I'd just been so darn busy. But I got back to it. And look what it had to say. The future begins now. Quantum answers. That's what we've been waiting for. Our new future with the QFS operating in the quantum realm. 5D. The shocking truth. I just have to say, the more I see what other people are putting out there, they're just so far behind. They're wanting to stay in that 3D world and make what God has done already since time began fit their narrative. And I'm just going to tell everybody right now, it's not the case. It's not the case. This was created out of time and given to us in time. It's over 588 million years old. It helped a civilization similar to ours where we are right now. That's why it's going to blow everybody's mind. Everybody thinks CBDCs, banks, institutions. No, they're over. When that contract ended with the devil on December 21st, 2020, it was game over for the corrupt Luciferian deep state cabal, Khazarian mafia, fiat fractionalized reserve system. Day of reckoning. Oh boy. Now mind you, when I do these, I don't have any intention of steering a narrative. I'm looking down through the possible choices, and God says, that one, Dave, pick that one. I click it, we go to the next screen, and I begin to look down. And I've talked about this before. That's how I learned how to take exams. You learn the right answers. You don't memorize the wrong answers. So when you're looking at the questions, you know the right answer. Bingo. So there's a day of reckoning that's coming. Boom, boom, boom. Sodom and Gomorrah. How many times have I posted on that? Lot's wife. Don't look back, people. Don't look back. We're to let go of everything in the past. And I know it's going to be hard. But God has something so extravagant on the other side of all this for everybody. But we have to be able to lay down that corrupt sin nature, self-inflicted narcissism. And there are people that aren't going to be able to do it. And they're not going to be here. And rightfully so. October 1st. This blew me away. Because this has been sitting on my computer since the 13th. Today's the 22nd. It's been sitting there for 9 days. And I had to go back through all my posts just to see, did I post it? And the answer was no. I was like, oh, I got to get this thing out today. Why? October 1st is the beginning of our new fiscal year. All the banks are over. They're just service centers now. The ones that survive. The ones that have met Basel III. And you've heard me talk about what's going on with these stable coins and XRP. And I have to tell you, some of the stuff that I'm seeing out there, and I'm not out there looking for it, the Lord just directs me. Again, the wild ideas and imaginations that people have about keeping this old, corrupt, Luciferian, Khazarian mafia system just baffles my mind. But see, that's all they know. And people gravitate to where they're comfortable. They can't think outside the box. They're not resonating at a higher frequency to even begin to get out of 3D. Financial windfall. That's what God has already laid up. That's for everybody that makes it through the Redemption Center. End of prophecy. Now that was interesting when that popped up. That says everything that he said would happen. It's done. Like the Ripple case. Ripple case over. End of prophecy. What's been the prophecy? Why Ripple was in the lawsuit to begin with. There's people out there making a movie about XRP without even knowing what the real story is. Now, it's unfortunate for them. What do we see on the prior page? October 1st. We have emergency broadcasting alert. There's no movie. There's no premiere. It's over. And what they think they know? They have no idea. Because they're chasing the third dimension. That's why I'm doing a movie. That's why God said we're doing our own movie. We're telling the real story. We're talking about all the stuff they can't talk about. Because they can't talk about what I've brought to Twitter, what I've done in the videos, what God has revealed through Revelation. They can't go there. Why? Because everything's copywritten. It's protected. Just for that reason. But that's another story. Purposeful. Did God do all this on purpose? Absolutely. Before the creation of time. Before we became flesh and blood. It was already taken care of. XRP Phoenix. Now, that one came up, and it's like, is it XRP Phoenix? Or is it XRP Phoenix? XRP was never in the ashes. God said Phoenix was the hub. And we can look at that however we want to, but that's why he moved my family here just a little over 2 years ago, getting ready. Interconnected. So all these things are interconnected. The Ripple case being over. The end of the prophecy. The day of reckoning. Now see, he didn't say days. He said the day of reckoning. The shocking truth. October 1st, financial windfall. All of this is interconnected. And then look what he has. The next one, finished cross. Well, we know that is the 3 words that Jesus spoke on the cross in Aramaic, tetelestai, which means it is finished. And then lastly, the only way. The only way this was going to happen is exactly how it's played out. XRP had to go into the sandbox and look like all the other kids in crypto land, but that was never its purpose. It was created to be digital asset collateral, bringing transactional security and the guarantee of assurance that nothing could go wrong with that transaction between those two parties, because it's in the middle, making sure it's backed 100% by gold that's already assayed, certified, and blockchain identified, sitting in Cheyenne Mountain, having been taken out of the Vatican, out of the tunnels, Vatican to Jerusalem, Vatican to Switzerland, Vatican to Europe, or I should say London. They have more gold, and they have enough gold already with no retail gold to cover liquidity needs for the next 2 to 250 years. But we won't need currency that long. So all this talk about the banks, do you realize that when they talk about the banks, they're not talking about the banks in the United States, central banks, because we don't have a central bank. It's been shut down. It was rolled in under the U.S. Treasury Department, which is in charge. And I saw a comment and I posted on it today. What is FedNow? What's it all about? FedNow, and what I mentioned before, is that the Federal Reserve has been stripped of all responsibilities. It can't print money, it can't lend, it can't do anything. So it operates under the U.S. Treasury Department. Its whole purpose now is compliance for the national sales tax of 14% that's coming in under NASARA for the U.S. The FedNow system takes in the tax in real time from every single business in the United States. So it's real time. There's no waiting to send in money. The moment the transaction is done, that money is off to the U.S. Treasury Department. And it does the balancing every night. So if it owes money back to a merchant, it knows exactly what the credit is and it holds the credit. And when it gets the next money coming in, it only takes what it needs to balance. That's what FedNow is all about. It has nothing to do with the banking system as we know the banking system used to be. That's dead. That's gone. They don't operate that way. And all they're doing now is having to backstop under Basel III and IV the customer deposits, our deposits, should we choose to move money from our Quantum Access account on the QFS 100% protected in the fifth dimension into a bank or credit union like we used to do. To the extent that they don't have the liquidity to insure those deposits. Because remember, when it's sitting up there on the QFS in your quantum access account, it's 100% backed by gold. It's 100% protected. Now, someone says, oh, well, I need to pay my bills, so I need to put $50,000 in my Wells Fargo account because I feel comfortable that it's there. Well, like I said before, it's going to take probably less than 6 months. And people are going to go, wait a minute. Why am I doing that? I'm doing everything else on my Q phone or my Q laptop. I don't need to have money sitting over there. I can go and take my debit card for my quantum access account. I can go to any bank I want to, and if I want to pull out money, pull out money. I can set it up to direct my payments. But you know what? What payments am I really going to have? My home should be paid for. My cars are paid off. You're buying groceries and clothes and things like this. You're just going to use your debit card or the equivalent of your Q credit card. Completely protected. Nobody's going to hack your identity. Nobody's going to fraudulently put a charge through. You're covered. But it's amazing. The MK Ultra programming just won't let them let go of it. Now, this is the other side of what I wanted to talk about. So I forgot to mention this. When we talked about redemption centers for ZIM bonds, this is super, super important. We talked about the structured payout options. There's an annual payout option once per year. There's a semi-annual twice per year. And there's a quarterly 4 times per year. Now, I was working through this, and the Lord brought it to my attention, and I went, oh, no, I've got to get this out. I got to re-educate everybody on this. So when you go to the redemption center with your ZIM bonds and you redeem them, you're going to pick the 100-year term, which is the highest payout. Here's what you're going to do. Now, I'm not putting this out there anyplace else, okay? So you guys are the first to know. This is what you need to do. When they tell you what the structured payout options are, this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask them under the annual, when is the payment made? I want you to think about that for a second. When is the payment made? The normal choice would be quarterly, right? I want a payment every quarter. I don't want to wait and get it twice a year. But then I'm working through this, and the Lord says, Dave, when is the payment going to be made? And this is what hit me. Now. They're not going to make you wait a year to get money. It's like one of those Denozo moments. Smack myself upside the head. They have to pay right up front. So do I want to get 1/4 of it or 1/2 of it? No. You would pick the annual payment option to get paid once a year, and you're going to get the first year right up front. So you're going to have all 12 months. Now, why is that so important? Because you're going to have all the money you need for your humanitarian project now and not have to wait for it. Makes sense, doesn't it? So I wanted to make sure you were aware of that. So get the word out. Make sure everybody understands. You're going to ask them, when is the payment made to you? And when they say, we would make that payment immediately, then you know you asked the correct question and you got the correct answer. Where other people will falter. And remember, they're not there to educate. They're there to facilitate your desires. So with that, have a blessed Sunday and get ready for more coming. Oh, one other thing I did want to mention. Stablecoins. Ripple, stablecoin. Why? Because they're going to provide the insurance through their stablecoin to any bank or credit union that still exists, having met all of the Basel III and IV requirements. See, if they don't have those requirements met by October 1st, they're done. They're over. Their doors will not open in the new system. And apparently there's still some institutions frantically trying to get things fixed. But again, we don't need them. They're just going to be around to help facilitate the transition, just like SWIFT. SWIFT is gone, but I still hear people talking about SWIFT like it's still operational, but it's not. It's been long gone. DavidXRPLion, out.